We're not. We're on now. Okay. Well, hello everybody in internet YouTube land, and today I've got a special treat for you. It's Keith Halls. He is Longevity's IMD of the Year last year, 2015, and it's quite an amazing story. Keith was had seen both sides of network marketing, the corporate side and the distributor side, and he's made quite a bit of money. He didn't always have money. In fact, Keith started out kind of poor. Keith, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody kind of that story when you were young and you didn't have much money, and then basically what happened, how you got into network marketing.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's an honor to be on here with you today. And yes, even though network marketing has done incredibly wonderful things for me, it was interesting. About 5 years ago, a business partner and friend of mine, he came to me and he said, Keith, all this is very easy for you because you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, you've always had money. I mean, you had everything you ever needed. And I said, do you know my story? And he said, well, no, I just kind of thought that's how you were raised. And I shared with him that when I was 7 years old, at the time I was born, first of all, in New Orleans. And when I was about 3 years old, we moved to a small town in East Texas called Nacogdoches, Texas. And it's a very small town, but for me, it's heaven on earth, and I still love going there. But my father was with the U.S. Forest Service, and the east part of Texas is actually very, very green. It rains a lot there. And anyway, we moved there. And shortly after moving there, my father, he contracted throat cancer. And we felt that it was, it was very, very hard. There were 5 kids, and because of the cancer and the operations that he had to have, he wasn't able to work. And since there were 5 kids at home, my mother wasn't able to work. And needless to say, we had very, very little. And I'm very, very grateful because when I was just a kid, we depended, and I should say depended, we were grateful because we received assistance from people in our church and different things like that. And one night when I was 7 years old, I can remember I woke up. It was very, very late in the night, and I heard a sound, and it was a sound that I hadn't really heard before, and it scared me. And so I got down on my hands and knees, and I wanted to get closer to where that sound was, and because I knew something wasn't right. And the closer I got, I then heard a second sound, and I had never heard that sound either. And the sounds that I heard that night were both my mother and my father, who were crying. And my mother said, Lowell, which is my father's name, she goes, it's so hard to see the looks on the kids' faces when they go to bed. And we haven't been able to feed them that night. And for me, we honestly never thought a thing of it. We were just grateful for the things that we did have. And I wanted to scream out that night, Mom and Dad, listen, don't cry, we're fine. But since I was supposed to be in bed, I knew I shouldn't do that. I went up into my room, and for the first time in my life, I said a prayer. And I don't really understand how prayer works, but I will say this, it does work. And I can remember I said something, and not these exact words, but I said, dear God, please, if you will, help my parents so that A, they will be comforted, and B, that they will know that we're okay. If you will do that, I will give you every penny I ever make for the rest of my life. And then I thought for a second, I said, wait a minute, God, maybe I could give you half, because if I give you everything, then I wouldn't have anything. So I'll give you half. But it was like I was bargaining with him there. And the next morning, I woke up and something prompted me to go to this little table. It was a card table-like thing that my parents had set up. And I got all the bills put together. My middle name is Ray, and I was named, excuse me, after a very wealthy person in Georgia. It was my father's best friend. And this person, Ray, didn't know what our family was going through, but I got all the bills put together and I put them in a gigantic type envelope, and I wrote a letter to the person I was named after, Ray Jensen. And I said, Ray, last night I heard my parents cry and I'm scared. My mom and dad have always told me that you were very wealthy, or excuse me, rich and everything. Could you please help us? And I mailed that letter off from school. About 2 weeks later, I was at school and my mother and dad came to school and they called me out of class and they said, can we go someplace and talk? And I had a feeling I knew what was happening. And we got to a little park and they said, Keith, did you write or did you contact Ray Jensen? And I said, I did. And I told them the story of what happened. And they said, well, Keith, that's very nice and that's very wonderful of you, but come to us before you do that. Many years later, on in life, about 25 years after that, when I started to have success and everything, I flew to Ray Jensen and I said, Ray, I want to pay you back. I don't have any idea. I was just a little boy, how much you had to pay or anything like that, but you paid off my parents' debts and allowed us to not be just in debt for the rest of our lives. And so I want to pay you back. And he took me into his other room and he showed me that in 1964, when I sent that letter as a 7-year-old boy, he paid a little over $250,000. That's how far that we were in debt because of my father's cancer.
Oh, wow.
I was amazing. I tried to pay him back with interest, and he said, absolutely not. Just knowing that I was able to help your father meant the world to me. And I was shocked. I was touched beyond belief, and very, very grateful that he did that for our family.
Well,
and that promise that I made as a 7-year-old boy, we have kept that promise, and we give to different church organizations that, and we ask them to make sure that the money goes to families that are in their congregation or they know or anything like that who are dealing with poverty type issues and hunger type issues. It's that promise that I made as a 7-year-old boy, and now I'm almost 59, and I've kept that promise now for many years.
That's interesting because I find that I'm able to help other people in longevity, and I get the same kind of satisfaction that your friend Ray had. In fact, my middle name is Ray, after my grandfather, but it's easy to spell, so I like that.
That's interesting to know. We have the same middle name there.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Birds of a feather. Now,
there you go.
What people just viewing this video and may not know anything about you, you got started in network marketing. A friend came to you in 1984
That's right.
and basically approached you about starting a business which became New Skin and actually was a multi-billion-dollar business. Is that right?
That's right. Back in 1984, I had finished my second degree at the university, and I was a CPA. And I have to admit, I didn't really enjoy being after I finished that degree. And so I decided that I'd go on to law school. And I was fortunate enough that not only was I accepted, but I was going to receive a scholarship to go to law school. And the law school was supposed to start in August of 1984. In June of 1984, a friend of mine called me one night and asked me to go play basketball with some of his friends and my friends. And we went and we played late one night, about 10 o'clock, and we got finished playing about midnight. And he said, Keith, can I talk to you about something else? And I said, sure. And he said that he and a few others were getting ready to start a company, that they would sell products that would be world-class products, and that their goal would be to create a company that would be able to sell these products throughout the world, and that they would use a system of marketing known as network marketing. And he asked me, he goes, Keith, do you know what network marketing is? And I said, no, I don't. He said, have you heard of Amway? And I said, no, I haven't. I can still remember. He goes, where have you been all your life? And I said, well, very small town in East Texas. But that night, he explained to me what network marketing was all about. And I can remember that I didn't understand everything at first, but he had such excitement and he had such a belief in what he was doing. And I can remember sitting there. I had finished this degree, and I was a CPA, and I was getting ready to go to law school, and yet I wasn't excited at all about my future. And here was a guy talking about this form of marketing, it was network marketing, and they were just starting to, they still didn't have any sales, in fact. They were just starting to get the product in. And so myself, and I was the seventh of the people that started New Skin back in 1984. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, in the very beginning, the sales were few, but it was very interesting. It took us over 6 months to be able to open a bank account. We would go into a bank and try to open a bank account, and they would always say, look, you guys need to get a job. You guys are throwing away your future and chasing after these dreams. Stop it, get a job. And they wouldn't let us open an account. Finally, a little bank let us open an account. And so I can remember a few years later when we did start growing, those same banks who had turned us down were knocking on our door begging to become our banker, because the company that we started, within about 10 years, we had become a $1 billion a year company. And it was a lot of fun. I was serving as senior vice president. My main area was, of course, being a CPA, was over the accounting, finance, tax, inventory control, everything for that. And
that doesn't sound like fun.
it was, I think the fun part was the challenge, because we grew to where we were doing business and had offices in 45 countries. Now they've grown since then, but that's about how big we were at that time. We took our company public on Wall Street in November of 1996, and that was a big day. That was a fun day for us, that the 7 of us. And the interesting thing is, even though I had been able to have the success and I'd been able to do the things that I thought were a lot of fun, and I was at the height of my, what you'd call corporate success and everything, my biggest desire was to be a distributor. And I would tell that to the people on the board, that I wanted to be a distributor, and they always thought that I was either telling a joke or that I was crazy. One of the two.
Okay. Well, now, why was it that you wanted to be a distributor? I mean, it sure sounds to me like you had the lifestyle, the income. A lot of people are afraid of change, and here you are. You say, okay, I've done this, and now I'm going to be a distributor. What kind of thoughts were running through your mind?
Well, there's a couple of thoughts that are running through my mind. One is I was able to see and witness the distributors inside of New Skin, and these people, some of them were earning over $10,000, some were earning over $25,000. I'm talking a month. Some were earning over $50,000, and some were earning over $100,000 a month. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of money. But the thing, not the amount of money, what interested me was that it was money, perpetual money that would keep coming for the rest of my life. These people sometimes would take a vacation, not for a week or 2 weeks like you do with a typical job. They would take vacations for a month, 2 months. Some people would take a vacation for a year, and that check kept coming month after month after month. And I have friends who were distributors back in 1984, and many of them haven't worked since probably 1990. And they worked really hard for about 6 years. They retired, but that check keeps coming to them every single month. Residual income is, to me, the greatest form of income that a person can hope to obtain and gain inside their life, because as it being residual, it keeps coming month after month after month. The second thing was, as I felt that, on the corporate side, it was a lot of fun. Strategically, it was just, every day was a new adventure in learning things, but I wanted to be able to be out working with people and helping other people. I wanted to be able to help anyone and everyone who had a desire to succeed. I wanted to be able to work with them. And inside of New Skin, being the senior VP and on the board of directors, in all honesty, I worked with very few people. People would come and make reports to me every day, but I feel like I had the chance to truly help others. And from my background and the help that we had received, I had a big part of me that was, I wanted to be able to go out and help other people to have the success that they were looking for and dreaming for in life.
Well, you certainly have done that, because after you joined Longevity. Now, you've already successful in network marketing on the corporate end. Why don't you tell our viewers, of all the network companies that were out there at the time, why did you choose Longevity?
That's a question I'm asked a lot, and it's a question that I enjoy answering. When I looked out there, and then there were many, many different companies to choose from, and don't get me wrong, there's many very, very good companies, and I love the industry, and I respect all those very good, strong companies. I want to say nothing but good things about them. However, I wanted to make sure that the company that decided to join, be with, everything like that, was the company that I felt offered 4 basic things. Number one, that offered a product or products, plural, that could change the lives of other people for the better. Inside of Longevity, what I love is we have not only nutritional products, we have not only weight loss products, we have not only jewelry products, we have the different divisions of products and product niches that people are looking for. And so it doesn't matter necessarily what your greatest desire is, you will find inside, I honestly believe, Longevity, the set of products that will be the products that you can stand behind and share with others and that others need.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing, I wanted to join a company whose leaders at the very, very top were trustworthy, honest, and also very bright, because it's a tough industry to be able to do it. When I first met Steve Wallach, the CEO and chairman of Longevity, I can remember the first day that I met him was in San Diego. That night, I called my wife and I said, "You know what, honey? I think just from talking with Steve Wallach, I think we found a home." He impressed me so much from that very first day, and he's continued to impress me more and more and more. And not just Steve Wallach, we have other people and other great corporate leaders, and we also have other great distributor leaders who are ready, willing, and able to reach out and help people succeed. And I know that in whenever Steve makes a decision, sometimes it may not be a decision I always agree with, but I have complete faith that he's doing what's best for the distributor force, as well as making sure that the company is strong so that we will be here not just 5 years from now, not just 25 years from now, but 55 years from now. You know, that's the great thing about the residual income is, you know, as I told you, I'm almost 60 years old, but knowing that for the next 25, 30 years while I'm alive, I'll be able to receive that check. And after I pass on someday, my family members will be able to receive that check. And that means a lot to me. But you have to have the leadership at the top to make that happen. The third thing you have to have is a compensation plan that pays and rewards you handsomely for the time, energy, and effort that you put into it. And that's exactly what you find inside of Longevity. I would place it against any other company, and not to try to argue with anyone, but I honestly believe that I could place it against any other company in our industry, and ours would come out ahead just because of the many different ways that it offers for the people that get involved to be able to earn money. And finally is the timing. I didn't want to join a company that was starting today. And the reason is, inside of our industry, about 1% of all companies that start ever truly make it. Right now, we've been in existence for a little over 18 years. So usually they say the 5-year mark is important, but I think that more than just the 5-year mark, it's that mark of stability, and Longevity has it. When you look in just the last, since 2010, we've grown from a company, excuse me, that's doing, back in 2010, they were doing approximately 10 million in annual sales. In 2015, the year that's just ended, the final report hasn't come out, but it will be close to about 160 million in annual sales. And so we're growing. And the great thing is most of the business is right here in the US. So that means that if you know anybody out there in any other country, or because of social media, your ability to reach out and contact and make friends from in a different country, then you are able to expand your business to where you truly have an international business, because you have distributors in different countries. Longevity.
Yeah. I just signed up a guy in Barbados. I got another one in the UK and Canada now. I mean, people are looking for this product and this company all over the world, Keith. You're right.
You're absolutely right. I mean, Dr. Wallach's story of, you know, he's a true pioneer in the nutritional industry. I mean, here you find very few people or doctors that are truly, or excuse me, that are awarded by the United Nations, and yet Dr. Wallach has been in his theory. You know, he first, before he started working on humans, he worked on animals, and he was able to, with working with some other companies, help prolong the longevity of animals. And so he said, you know what, if we can do that with animals, we can do the same thing with humans. And his theory of the 90 essential vitamins and minerals that are, and amino acids and everything that are necessary for the body to be able to function at its optima, we have that product right here. And the great thing is, for a little over $100 a month, you can have all of the ingredients that are necessary for your body to function at its absolute best. If you went down to a GNC or a health food store, and again, I'm not trying to knock them at all, but it would take you probably buying closer to $400 to $500 worth of products to be able to get all of the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that you would need. But Dr. Wallach created this package that we were able, for just a little over $100 a month, to be able to have everything the body needs to function at its best.
And that's what I tell people. I mean, when they say, "Oh, I go to the store and I get calcium," and I explain to them, well, all supplements are not created equal. They have to be absorbable. And Wallach's done all the legwork, the research, and put them in the proper ratios. When I show people on the canister of Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the recommended daily allowance compared to what you'll get in the other things, it's amazing the amount that's in that. So it's more than one or two supplements. I mean, it's just chock full of stuff.
Well, he's also made a tape that talks about nutrition, and this tape of his, or whatever you want to call it, DVD and everything like that, his audio, has sold over 200 million copies now to date. And I believe that this number is right, but if you go to the world of music, and because people there are trying to always sell their works, the number one producing artist of all time is Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson has sold, in life and in death, about 150 million copies. But Dr. Wallach's talk on nutrition has sold approximately 200 million copies. And that's just in English, and a few, I should say, in Spanish. But when that message now goes to the world will listen, and the world will be looking, where can I find the product that stands behind this incredible talk that he gave?
Yeah. The world is waking up to Wallach's message. He was so far ahead of the curve. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And I like telling people that Dr. Wallach, with his own money, sued the FDA 8 times and won 8 times.
That's right.
And we've got 2 qualified health claims now. One that says selenium can kill certain cancers, and that essential fatty acids prevent stroke. I mean, no other health company in the world's got even 1 qualified health claim. We've got 2, all on the back of Dr. Wallach and his research. And that's one of the things that longevity is so unique with, is Wallach's experience and his message.
And his message is incredibly strong. And one thing that's important is, even though he can say these things about being able to cure things like that inside our industry, we have to let him say that on the curing part. But his message is just amazing. And I can remember when I joined, I bought 24 discs, and I took them around to people in my neighborhood or friends, and I kept 1 for myself. So I gave 23 out, and I wanted to see what would be the response to this wonderful talk that's entitled "Dead Doctors Don't Lie." Now, it's not gruesome. Don't think anything like that. He was just saying that he was taking on the medical industry, and he's been very successful in showing that nutrition really is the key to most situations that we find ourselves in. But of those 23 people that I took a tape to and listened to, approximately 12 people came to me. I didn't go to them. They came to me saying, "We love the message. We believe in the message. We believed in this our whole life. Where can we find the product behind the message?" And that impressed me so much that I still am very, very grateful that we have him still here. And he's over 75 years old, and he does about 300 events, nighttime events in a year. 300 out of 365 days. I mean, that's unbelievable. How he has dedicated his life to teaching the world about nutrition and the benefits of true, proper nutrition.
Well, yeah. I saw him. I'm in Columbia, Missouri, the University of Missouri, where he graduated from vet school, and I got to see him. He did a seminar here for his 50th anniversary from the graduation. And in fact, in about 2 weeks, I'm taking my team up to Kansas City, and for all those guys who have never seen him. And so that's going to be a big treat for them. And I just want to tell everybody who watches this, if you've never seen Dr. Wallach in person, well, you need to do that. And he'll be somewhere near you at some point. In fact, I'll put my phone number on here, and if you want to find out where, just give me a call, and I'll make sure you get the information, because that's something you won't want to miss, especially if you want to get involved with longevity. That's going to be a treat that you'll want to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. And if you have that chance, please do. And if you'd like to hear about it even today or tomorrow without waiting, we can get you a disc that you can listen to the message. I always like to call it the message and the man behind the message, and know that even though it's been interesting to me, other companies have tried to say that Dr. Wallach's with them or Dr. Wallach's over here, but Dr. Wallach is the founder of our company. His son, CEO, Dr. Wallach, is here 100%. And so we have that great legacy right here for all of us.
Yeah. Keith, I want to thank you so much for taking your time. And I want to point out, Keith's part of my upline, and that's what we do in longevity. We help each other to grow our business, because with Dr. Wallach's foresight of forming a foundation of like-minded individuals to take back the health of our country and soon the world, we're all here to help each other. So don't hesitate to contact us if you want to get involved. We'd be more than happy to help you with product knowledge or enrollment or answering questions.
Yes.
With that, you have any parting words then, Keith?
No, my biggest thing, I would invite everyone to give Mike a call, because just as he said, he and as well as myself, but we're here to help you. Our goal, our desire is to help other people to improve their lives. And remember, we aren't only a nutritional company. Dr. Wallach has created amazing products in other niches, weight loss, and I mean, I could go on and on. And not only that, we've reached out and we've added other niches where people are spending their money in our economy. And so we have them here. And the greatest thing is the products that we have are the best of the best. And you will see that once you start to use them. So contact Mike as quickly as you can, get on board, and let's make this a fun thing for all of us.
All right, Keith. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me.